Coming up on show 624, the Mini Cooper Electric gets US pricing, a cheap Renault City EV, and Ford's clever hybrid technology. Those stories and a lot more going on. Busy old day today for the news. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. In fact, wherever you're listening around the world, welcome to the show. This is EV News Daily, your edition for Monday, 28th of October. This is what happened in the last 24 hours. I go through every EV story that I can find, all about saving you time, because I know that you are hella busy. Saving you time at myev.com and saving you money as well, because they can sort out a warranty for your used EV in the USA. Check out myev.com. They do help me make this show, and a warranty is something that I just feel more comfortable with an EV having, and I never had car warranties before having an EV. They don't really go wrong, but if they do go wrong, it could be expensive, and they'll sort that out for you as well at myev.com. Right, Tesla owners living in areas affected by the ongoing California wildfires are being addressed by Elon Musk. And if you are affected, by the way, then you're definitely in our thoughts. Stay safe, be sensible, don't take any risks. Those Tesla owners in the area that have lower range vehicles than their battery could give them, they're having their battery ranges unlocked, by the way. The software limited battery pack, the update was confirmed by Elon on Twitter. Says Simon at Teslarati, owners of cars like the Model S, the 40, the 60, the 70, all able to gain extra range, made possible because Tesla equipped the batteries with a larger battery pack, but then software locked it down. And yeah, that's going back a way, actually. The Model S, 40 kilowatt hour. Wow, that is certainly going back a long way. Kind of hard to think about these days, isn't it, with a Tesla's massive range, but they did make a 40 kilowatt hour one. For example, it has a 60 kilowatt hour battery in, but software locked it so they could sell it cheaper. Tesla yet to confirm if the Model 3, though, standard range Model 3, will have its standard range plus battery unlocked. Elon did seem to confirm that free unlimited supercharging will also be enabled for owners of Teslas in the area in California. Well, Elon also says that Tesla's focusing installations on their solar and Powerwall products for people in California who could be affected by wildfires. He says, apologies to those waiting for solar and Powerwall outside of California. We are prioritizing those affected by wildfires. And Elon even said they're offering $1,000 discounts. According to Electrek, Musk has especially been talking about the capacity to avoid power outages by combining solar power with Tesla's Powerwall battery packs, and he says that Tesla Energy is becoming a distributed global utility that could well outgrow its automotive business. Fascinating, isn't it? How what people think is a car company are actually really into you having solar and storage and an EV, and we don't really get power cuts in this country, certainly where I live. I used to live in the country and power cuts were more common then, not for more than an hour or two, but I can't think of the last time we had a power cut. I can't think of the last time I even came home from work and saw the oven light flashing, which told me that the power had been off during the day. We just don't get them. But it does seem that they're more common in other places, because one of the selling points of home storage, I often see the battery manufacturer saying protect yourself against power cuts and keep the power on. So maybe it's more of an issue for some and not me. General Motors, Fiat Chrysler and Toyota are all backing President Trump's administration. The Trump administration wants to, well, they are clashing with California. California has a decades-old campaign to reduce auto emissions. Now, the Trump administration wants to change that and have a single national standard for the environment, which does seem to make sense. Why would you have multiple standards in one country? According to the LA Times, the companies and the coalition that work with GM, Fiat Chrysler, Toyota, so that's Subaru, Hyundai, Mazda and Nissan, have filed a brief for the defense of Donald Trump in a lawsuit challenging the efforts to roll back existing auto emission and mileage standards. So the plan is to roll them back there's a case trying to stop that rollback, and now these auto manufacturers have filed a defence of the people trying to stop the rollback, as it were. Which is a weird thing, right? If you make cars in 2019, 2020 world, I just don't think you need, well, who am I to say? But anyway, I don't think you need to have that public perception that you want to roll back emission standards. You want dirtier air. That's really, really good for our kids. Right? Toyota, Fiat Chrysler, General Motors? Either stay out of it or campaign for better air quality, but I wouldn't be siding with those that want to lower standards. I'm sure they know what they're doing. Moving on, and Mini, one of the first auto manufacturers to offer a battery electric car. Do you remember? 2009, the Mini E was a test car. They were leased, and they were all taken back, but not crushed. And a modified version of the Mini Cooper in selected US markets was offered with 100 miles of EPA range. According to Steve Hanley at Clean Technica, the new Mini Cooper SE, fast forward 10 years, fully updated, now ready for its debut. And the company has announced pricing in the US, $29,900, so $100 off of $30,000, plus shipping and handling. The first cars will reach US dealers in March next year. Federal, state and local incentives could bring the Mini Cooper SE down to $17,900 and come with special privileges like accessing special lanes during commuter hours. Meanwhile, Electrek has a take on this. When BMW unveiled the production version of the Mini Cooper earlier this year, some people were disappointed by the fact it was based on the older i3 platform. And yes, I'll put my hand in the air on that one. I think that BMW have some really interesting technology coming just around the corner with the iX3 and the i4. They have some really interesting EV powertrain stuff that is next gen, but they chose to use what they had in the parts bin of the BMW i3, which is itself starting to get a little long in the tooth. Not style-wise, by the way, still looks space age, but it's been around a while. So they're using that. They're using the 32.6 kilowatt hour battery pack. Mini says the range is good for 140 to 160-ish miles based on WLTP, 130 miles on EPA if you're being realistic. Battery pack has 50 kilowatt DC fast charging, but no more, because of course they're not making a car for 2020. They're making a car based on technology that's been around in the i3 for a long time now. Mini, what are you doing? That's an amazing looking car, but BMW, come on, you've got the latest gen drivetrain and powertrain technology ready to go into your new BMWs, but for your Mini brand, you use what's out there at the moment. Not very future-proofed. Anyway, good news, there's now a price in the USA. Renault is planning a modified version of the City K ZE. Of course, with Renault, remember, ZE, Zero Emissions, is their kind of sub-brand. A small electric car offered at competitive prices, made in China, sold in Europe. However, the price for Europe is unclear, and what brand will sell the KZE as well. According to Electrive, most likely that the European version of the KZE will be offered by Renault's brand Dacia, which is the budget version, the very budget version. Dacia doesn't have a terrible reputation, but they sell on price, and that price is very low. Renault presented the KZE at the Shanghai Motor Show in April, and the car's been on sale since September for 62,000 yuan. That's about 8,000 euros. Engine has 33 kilowatts of power, and the battery is 26.8 kilowatt hours. It's winning no awards, but heck, for an 8,000 euro car, I wonder how many people will just have one as their second car to do errands in and dip their toe into the EV water. Don't mix water and electricity. Let's talk about big batteries. I thought I was doing well when we changed our EV earlier this year and doubled the size of our battery pack. But no, I've been outdone. The world's biggest battery is 2.5 gigawatt hours, a site on Vernon Avenue in Queens, New York. That was once the site of about 16 gas peaker plants. But no more. Now there's only a couple left, and soon they'll all be demolished. There's going to be a 316 megawatt or 2.5 gigawatt hour storage battery, the largest in the world. The proposal to build the new factory was approved last week in New York, says Clean Technica, and the proposed storage project has 136 batteries and inverters, 64 of which are double stacked. And Ford in Europe are trying to do some funky stuff with technology, piloting new technology with plug-in hybrids in Cologne. A new study where some of their plug-in hybrid electric vehicles are going to be testing on the streets of London and Valencia in Spain. And they aim to analyse and show the real-world benefits of connected vehicles, says Green Car Congress. Each of the 10 plug-in hybrids have, in the 12-month Cologne trial, got Ford Pass Connect and an onboard modem, and a plug-in device which enables geofencing and blockchain. What's that all about? Well, whenever one of the vehicles enters a controlled zone, the electric drive mode is triggered, and zero-emission driving, green miles, just happens automatically without the driver doing anything, because the vehicle knows it's in an area where it is not allowed to emit anything. The emissions mode and the time that the vehicles enter and leave the controlled zone are then recorded in the blockchain, so it's secure, and emissions data is then safely stored and shared amongst relative parties, or even if you end up paying some sort of tax for driving in zero emission zones, but not being, if you had no battery charge, if you'd run your battery down in your hybrid and you had to use the petrol, maybe there's a fine involved. Interesting stuff. A long way off that being ubiquitous, but interesting stuff. And finally, this will make you laugh. It's from Jalopnik. About a month ago, I told you on this podcast, of RS Automotive. They were a petrol filling station in Tacoma Park, Maryland, and they are the first US gas station that has converted fully from petrol pumps to EV chargers. According to NPR, the owner, Depessoir Doley, has kept the station looking the way it used to, though. You know what's coming here. Sometimes there is confusion, says NPR. Drivers have been pulling up in their combustion cars, getting out, looking around, and working out, where's the pump that I need? I got a quote here from the owner. He says, and I quote, "A lot of them pull up and get upset." But anyway, he's kept it looking like how it used to look, but it's just got total conversion to EV chargers. And they say business is just starting to pick up, mostly taxis and public vehicles using it at the moment. Good news. Right, question of the week this week then with myev.com, set by fellow listener Martin Young. What were some of your biggest surprises about living with an electric car when you got one? So we're aiming this one at EV owners. What were some of the biggest surprises when you first became an EV owner? Thank you to 256 patrons of the podcast. Your sheer generosity means that I get to make this show every single day. Check out patreon.com/EV News Daily and my premium partners, Phil Roberts of Electric Future, Brad Crosby and Avid Technology. Where there's 623 previous shows online, you can get all the new ones first and free and automatically by hitting subscribe on your podcast app of choice. Maybe Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts or Spotify's doing more podcasts these days. If you want to come and say hi on the socials, search for the phrase EV News Daily. Blog's up and running again, fixed it, not sure what I did, but the WordPress blog is once again archiving all of the shows that I make for you. Do have a wonderful day. Catch you tomorrow. And remember, there's no such thing as a self-charging hybrid.